Hey there guys, I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about Until Dawn. Now, I haven't really gone into this movie with a lot of expectations knowing what I was going to watch. Now, obviously, I have seen the video game Until Dawn, never played it, but I have seen gameplay clips of it and know what this movie was going to be based on. However, I wasn't really expecting it to kind of be another one of those video game adaptations that's going to really just hit out like a storm, or just basically just essentially be like one of those sort of memes of a video game adaptation like Minecraft or Super Mario Brothers movie, etc. Like it wasn't going to be like that. I think this is certainly a movie that's mostly targeted for a more mature audience, and obviously the video game itself is more based around that. So I think for a lot of people going into Until Dawn, there could have been an element of the audience that would know the video games, but potentially also some that just like horror films. So, and I think in my opinion, how I look at Until Dawn, I think it's pretty decent. I wouldn't, it does a lot of things good, but I'm still kind of a little bit underwhelmed by some of the things in this movie. Now, like I said earlier, I've actually never played Until Dawn. The only real closest thing I could really get from it is just seeing a few clips of the video game itself on YouTube or on social media. But I've never played the game, so I don't actually know fully well like how closely this movie adapts the video game itself. But essentially, the premise of the movie, it sets the scene up pretty safely, and it actually does its job. So this movie sets around a group of friends, and one of the main characters is called Clover, and she is looking for Melaine, who is her sister that has disappeared for a year, and she vanished in this valley where essentially the friends are looking for answers to know where her disappearance is. And when they try and find out her disappearance, they get into some scenarios where they search for clues, and essentially the valley becomes a very dangerous place where essentially a lot of people got killed, and essentially they have to try and survive the night against a serial killer who kind of looks like Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, and also some monsters. And essentially, when they don't survive, they have to go back in time to try and survive the night. Otherwise, they're going to be part of the night where they can't escape. So they have to survive until dawn. So it's a very simple premise, and that's really where it is. Now, there isn't really like any sort of real big plot storyline or like any sort of character development in this film. Like, none of the characters really get themselves very fleshed out. They're just a group of friends at the end of the day. So I think it does things very safe, and it's kind of like the typical horror movie that you would probably see like many years ago. As much as I really do think the premise and the idea of this movie is safe and it works well, maybe for some it can kind of come across as a little bit generic in some sense. But I will say, like, that's not really like most of my main disappointment with this film. Like, there are some disappointing things about this movie. So obviously this is meant to be a horror movie, and I really feel like as a movie it didn't really do horror great, to be honest with you. The only thing that it did well, I really think, is mostly trying to get a lot of the gore and the hack and slash feel of the film. And I think that's probably like the best part of it. And they were showing like all the limbs. The best example I could say, kind of spoiling it, is essentially some of the friends would drink the water, and essentially that water is not actually drinkable water. It effectively makes them very sick, and then essentially they would implode. Like, either they would die or they would have limbs implode, and that's essentially it. And it does look like pretty much like comic book style gore, which I thought was pretty entertaining. And they do that well, but I don't think they do jump scares well. There's no real, what I would call, build up of tension essentially. Like if I really had to compare like movies like say Sinners for example and Nosferatu, I think as horror movies or using the aspects of horror, they do it very well to build up tension and kind of make it not always purely based on it being a jump scare. They just want to kind of build the suspense a little bit. Now, I think when it comes to Until Dawn, I didn't really feel that. And I think sometimes it kind of makes it feel a little bit flat as a horror movie. And it kind of just underwhelms like a lot of the moments and the scenes for me. Other things I do want to mention, parts of this movie when I was watching it, I did feel pretty bored. I'm just going to really be honest with you. And I do really feel like this movie does drown you out a little bit. Mostly because I really do feel like the writing and the script was not great. So there's many circumstances, a lot of the characters will engage dialogue with each other. And they would always have like... They would panic, essentially, knowing that they're in a very unfortunate situation in the valley that effectively they died. They come back to life because all of a sudden they didn't survive. They didn't survive the night, and they go back to try and find a way to survive until dawn. Until, if they don't, then they will essentially be part of the darkness, essentially. So they're all kind of panicking that they think that this is the end of the road. But most of the times when I look at the dialogue, it's essentially just constant swearing and just unpronounced use of it. Like it's like, oh shit, here we go. Like one character say, oh shit, and then the other character will say, oh shit. And it's just like, it didn't really put much effort to really try and maybe create bridges or actually create, some form of connection between the characters at all. It just felt like they all just wanted to just swear at each other and just like panic for some odd reason. So I really felt like the writing and the script really just let the movie down in some aspects. And yeah, that's practically it. But yeah, in general, I mean, this is just a fine movie. I don't really have a lot I could say. I know this kind of sounds like a lot of video game adaptations or a lot of movies I'm kind of expressing that it's just very average thoughts, I guess. I don't really have a lot of good... Well, there are goods and bads in this film, for sure. And it's like that with a few other video game adaptations as well. But it kind of depends like how you take it in and how you closely like the video games or the genre itself. But I think that in general the movie's fine. I don't really think it's... I think when you watch it, I think you'll just watch it and you'll just... You wouldn't feel bad watching it, but just forget about it because it's just like a typical other movie you would see every day. But I think for people who like the video games, I think they probably got some things that was deemably serviceable. So yeah. Let me know what you guys think of Until Dawn. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, dislike if you want to dislike. Thank you for watching. And yeah, that's about it. See you later.